Alright everyone, welcome to Deep Dives with Dogs. Well, today we're going to talk about the fleeing of a lot of Germans after the Second World War and the eventual capture of some of the leaders, including Adolf Eichmann. So after the Second World War, a lot of the German elites and even German citizens leave Germany. They head to Argentina. There's a lot of former certain party members of Germany that flee there to escape persecution and also to just hide away. Argentina has a large German population, always kind of has for for a long time now, even before this event. But so they're more able to easily escape there. In Argentina, they don't really ask much questions, so they're fine. But one of those Germans is Adolf Eichmann. For those that are not aware, Eichmann is kind of the architect, really, for the Holocaust. The other Adolf obviously gets a lot of the blame for it, and he should. He's the leader. He's the one that ultimately made the final decision. But the guy that really thinks up a lot of this stuff is Eichmann. And Eichmann had successfully evaded capture. He had successfully escaped. So he was all squared away. You know, Rocky's barking right now. There's nobody there. There's nothing there. He's just barking at his own shadow at that point. But, anyway, Eichmann manages to escape, and he basically probably thinks he gets away with it, more or less. And he kind of does for about 15 years, where he's captured in 1960. But he gets noticed and discovered by a very unlikely duo. That being a blind Holocaust survivor and his daughter. So, I'll give you the rundown of the story. The story goes that this Holocaust survivor, his daughter, ended up dating Adolf Eichmann's eldest son, Klaus. They had changed their name by that point, things like that. Obviously, he wasn't going by Eichmann. That kind of lead him to be discovered. And so he, maybe you could imagine, doesn't want that to happen, that the eventuality to happen. So, change the name. And she dates Klaus, so isn't that kind of ironic, huh? Your daughter is dating probably the son of the most evil person you know. But so the son makes a comment one day, kind of very anti-Semitic comment, and said, "Oh, his father worked for the other Adolf that I can't say his last name, but you know who I'm talking about, the other Adolf." And father thinks nothing of it. The Holocaust survivor thinks nothing of it. Just kind of like, okay, that was kind of weird, but to be fair, a lot of people did. So, you know, what can you do, right? Well, eventually they move away. Obviously, the relationship didn't last. Obviously, I'm sure you could gather as to why, but the relationship doesn't last. They move away, and eventually, the father hears about a story of trials going on in Frankfurt. And in Frankfurt, there were trials of previous party members of Germany being tried and things like that. And so he thinks, well, I have a suspicion, because he had the suspicion of who this kid's father was, or at least an idea of maybe someone who it was. And hearing that Eichmann is also still missing, you know, they don't know where he is, they decide to test out this little suspicion. So they go to the house. They have to travel quite a bit because they had moved quite a distance away. They travel to the house of the Eichmanns, and under the guise of, hey, we're here to see Klaus. Is Klaus here? I haven't seen him in a long time. You know, I'd really like to see him. Well, Klaus isn't there. You know, probably good for them that he wasn't. But all that mattered was, while the daughter was asking for Klaus, she managed to get a look at who was inside the house. That happened to be Adolf Eichmann. They were And so they tip off Israeli authorities, intelligence, authorities, basically just authorities in general, and they go in and they get him, and they eventually, yeah, he gets put on trial. And Eichmann has, you could say, not the best time. Not the best time. He probably thought he got away with it, and for a while he kind of did, but eventually his past caught up with him. Now, if it would have been a little bit more time, could he have escaped? Possibly. Realistically, if they had kept being on the move, or even had it been a few more years, Eichmann would have gotten old enough, people would have really have recognized him. But only 15 years later, that's enough time where he kind of gets away. But he gets his comeuppance, as he should. Um, but you must have think that must be super frustrating. You get discovered by your daughter or his son's ex-girlfriend. That was also a Jew that you very much don't like. Man, must have been an unfortunate time in that household, huh? But yeah, that's one of them. Now, many other not. I almost said the word. Sorry. YouTube will ban me. I'm sorry, not ban me, but it'll flag this, and well, none of you get to see it. But a lot of the party members that do escape, a lot of them do get captured, and there are people that are lesser members that they kind of know what happened to them, and they disappear. And that's why the theory that the other Adolf, the main Adolf, you could say, if he did escape, he was the luckiest out of all of them. They never found him, if he did. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you have any ways I can improve these videos, leave a comment down below. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.